They say that some of life's greatest lessons can be learned playing sports. Character, perseverance, teamwork, how to get your next job. Wait, how to get a job?
Good luck to you guys the rest of the year.
Yes, I'm serious. Meet our teachers, Baylor basketball coach Scott Drew and the man behind the coach, Bob Bodine, who placed Scott in this job. They've succeeded with a unique and unusual approach. It's called The Power of Who. Bob wrote the book on it, literally.
You have a community of friends that God has specifically given you in life. I tell people that you got 12 friends, 3 close, 1 best, that He gave you as gifts to you in your life that'll come to your aid and help you in times of crisis.
But in crisis, especially money problems, we often avoid our friends. We hide.
The dynamic around losing your job is so much different. You don't feel comfortable talking to your friends and telling anyone about this, so you slide to a bunker alone.
And nowadays, alone is the new in crowd, with jobless numbers rising to record levels. And Bodine, who's worked with everyone from presidents to coaches, says we're going about job hunting the wrong way.
You try in a process to utilize what the world system has in place to actually go find jobs today. And I tell people that all of that doesn't work. So what is that? That's going out to faceless websites. That's handing out business cards to people like they're mints. That's sending letters to executive recruiters like myself. Dear sir, to whom it may concern, dear recruiter. Dear recruiter, that's an oxymoron.
Okay, how does the power of who work on the basketball court?
It's all about relationships.
Scott Drew lives this philosophy on and off the court. It started by turning around a team that had hit rock bottom following a string of scandals and even a murder. It continues in building relationships through recruiting, even holding a Bible study to strengthen his commitment to the power of who.
Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord, your God, will be with you wherever you go.
And here's how focusing on key relationships can work for your next job. Begin with your inner circle, those 12 key people in your life. Sound familiar?
Jesus had 12 friends, 3 close, 1 best. Everyone knows who He is. 2,000 years later, in a place here, even like Waco, Texas, He's still signing new recruits.
Next comes your who friends. Up to 100 key people God has strategically placed throughout your life. Teachers, coaches, God-given friends. And remembering them might take some work.
There's a group of people that love you, that want to help you. You have to go find them.
Unconditionally.
Unconditionally.
Just because.
That you have to find them. You have to redeclare your friendship with them. You have to then invest your life in them, okay? And then ask them for help.
But Bob says that's one of 3 key problems for today's job seekers. First, they don't ask for help. Secondly, they don't know who their true friends are. And it's interesting, as an executive recruiter, you have written and you've seen over and over that a lot of times people put down references who diss them.
Do you know if you give me 7 references, one of them will probably roll you under the bus, the other will say, hey, they want the job. It's the worst. and the reason is you don't know your own who.
Next, they have no idea what they want.
You didn't ask, you don't know your who, and 3, when you ask your friends, you're vague. You kind of just say, gee, hey, I'd like to be in sports, Bob. And I say, so what, do you want to be a referee? Do you want to hand towels? The answer is we got to tell people what we want. And our friends are willing to do that, but we have to know who these are.
Last question, but still important. Where? Where do you want to work? For Scott, after family, it was about challenge, and Waco delivered. He's turned the team around with this group of winners, starting with his first personal connection.
You spend time with the Lord, you find out where He's directing you, you make a list of things that you feel that He wants you to do and places that you'd want to work, and you put that list down, and then you go to the people that you know and say, how can I get to where I want to go?
So you're going to the Final Four this year, aren't you?
Well, one thing we try to do as coaches is not to put that kind of pressure on us. If the Lord wants to take us to the Final Four, we will be in the Final Four, I can promise that.
So there you have it, another business lesson from the world of sports. The bottom line is humility, being humble enough to go to the people who really love you, the people who've always had your back, to find your next job. To give you one more shot. In Waco, Texas, Carolyn Castleberry, CBN News.